I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. We are joined by Nixie Hime. Hi.
Hi.
Hey, I appreciate you coming on. Please introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, I am Nixie Hime. I am an Egyptian princess VTuber. I stream on Twitch. I am a variety streamer. I play a little bit of everything. And I'm also an editor for other VTubers as well.
So you're kind of a Swiss Army knife when it comes to this sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, the editing thing is kind of like it's more of a recent thing, so.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, how tough is it to edit for? Are you editing them down to like YouTube videos, that type of thing?
Yeah, I do YouTube videos and I do like YouTube shorts as well.
How tough is that to do if you have the right equipment?
It depends on what the person wants, like, because sometimes YouTube shorts are just like clips of someone's stream.
Mhm.
They just want something simple, like just a stream clip edited down with some like memes or something overlaid, and
Yeah.
that's pretty easy. But sometimes they want something a bit more complicated and heavily edited, and that takes a while and can be kind of challenging, especially sometimes you just go back and forth with the video and people just are like, oh, I want this and I want this, and they keep adding to it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. There's always that sort of thing. Yeah, that's good, but I really wanted you to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good, but it could use a little bit more something here, or you didn't do this quite exactly the way I expected here. And I'm just like, okay.
Could you take another second off of that? Maybe just a half second off of that. Every.
And if the video is like if the video is like an hour long, which sometimes it is, or
Yeah.
like even like 20 minutes long, 20 to an hour, it takes like 20 to 40 minutes to render. So like if someone wants me to make a small change, it can take like an hour to get that small change in or something sometimes.
Oh yeah. See, that's another reason why I basically only edit audio, folks.
It's way simpler.
Yeah, I was a radio star. Video didn't quite kill me off, but it sure wounded me.
Hmm.
It it's a lot different than doing both of those and having them come together correctly than just editing the audio. So when did you get started on VTubing?
So I've been a streamer for about 10 years now,
Mm,
but I'm not that old. I just kind of started when I was in high school, like here
yeah,
and there, but
yeah.
um I enjoyed doing it and I didn't take it seriously. Since I was in school, I would just do it whenever I felt like it.
Right.
So it wasn't like a commitment.
Hmm.
Um and then I started to get really into VR chat like 8 years ago because
Right.
I hopped on VR chat right when it came out on Steam, which was like 8 or 9 years ago.
Hmm.
8 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Um, and just got to experience what it was like to be behind like an avatar, and and a lot of my friends like also like became streamers, like VR chat streamers, and they also used avatars to represent themselves online.
Hmm.
And it was really just kind of like the first time I realized, oh, like this exists.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um,
Were you streaming with the face cam before?
I would stream with face cam sometimes, but most of the time it was just me, just my voice
Mm,
and the game. I
mm,
didn't really do anything like special.
mm. Well, it's a very soothing voice. Um,
Thanks.
yes, there's no sharp edges on that voice. I can tell you that right now.
Thank you.
Um, with that transition over, was it easy for you to do, or did it take a little getting used to?
At first, it was a little bit. I was nervous because when you introduce like a model, like an anime model, you don't know like because the only people who watched me at that point were like my friends.
Right.
So I was kind of nervous if someone came across my stream who didn't like understand if they would be alienated by it or something.
Yeah.
Um, but I didn't have like my own model at that point. I was just using one of like the pre-made ones that was on the software I was using.
Right, right. Well, it got you a chance anyway to kind of get your foot get your toe in the water a little bit anyway, to figure out whether you
Yeah.
liked it or not. How long did it take for you to realize that you did like it?
Um, Probably around 2022, I think. Like I streamed for a long time before I realized like I actually want to do this,
Hmm.
like seriously, because I enjoy it. It was in 2022 where I met a lot of amazing VTubers that and we would stream together and we would do all these things together and it was fun. I had a great time
Hmm.
and it made me more consistent of a streamer. Make me take it a little more seriously.
Yeah. What really draws you to? I mean, I know you did it through school, but what draws you to it now? Is it that um, camaraderie, companionship of having somebody there with you while you're streaming?
I don't collab a lot,
Uh-huh.
but I do love collabing. I do like having another person there, especially if like they match your energy or they match like your personality, because then
Hmm.
you can just kind of riff off of each other.
Yeah.
Because one of the hard parts that I think a lot of VTubers would say about streaming is like keeping the voice going, keeping like yourself talking and interesting over a course of a stream. So when you're with someone, it definitely does make it easier to have like an organic conversation going.
Yeah, and that's a good word to use, organic conversation. I and I wish I would think about that more often and use it correctly. But it there's a lot of difference between an organic conversation and a forced one. And if you can create that organic sort of natural, flowing type of back and forth, everything is so much easier at that point. The tension in the voices goes away. Everybody just seems to settle into what's going on.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm good at keeping a conversation going like by myself with chat,
Uh-huh.
but it's something that I think every streamer is continuously learning to do.
Hmm. You know, and everybody's going to do it their different ways, obviously. I mean,
Yeah, and even though I've only been streaming seriously for 3 years, I still feel like brand new. I still feel like I just started.
that's a good thing, isn't it? I mean, you still have the new car smell on it.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like I have the new car smell at least, which is good because
You,
every time I mess up, I'm like, I still feel like I'm new. I still feel like I can learn things,
yeah,
so I don't feel like I've peaked or anything.
yeah. Well, I mean, is it now become a situation where you're really striving more to improve and than you were certainly at the beginning when you just kind of as you, by your own description you're just kind of doing it to do it. Now you're taking it a little more seriously. Um, how has that changed your outlook as far as improving?
Um, Now that I focus a lot on improvement and also consistency, I find that whenever I have a stream where I don't know, it's most of my streams, I guess, where I have like kind of low viewership,
Hmm.
I'm like, that's okay. Like, I can learn like why. Every time I have like low viewership or every time I release like a video or something that doesn't do well, I I look at it and I examine the statistics and everything, and I'm like, oh, this is where I could do better. Or I'll watch my stream back sometimes, and I'll be like, oh, that was this part of the stream was really quiet. I didn't really say anything.
Yeah, and so you are working analysis into it as you
Yeah,
are. Yeah,
and like I don't necessarily do it just to grow. I have fun with it,
yeah.
but now that I'm taking it seriously, I do like legitimately want to grow. So that's something that you really have to do because a lot of people say like, oh, don't look at the stats, like do it for fun, and like I think you can still do it for fun, but also do it to improve and grow.
Oh yeah, yeah, and the point I would have trouble with, and of course I don't. Everybody's mileage varies on this, but is when you're balancing that between still have being something you enjoy and have it be a job and have it
Yeah.
be a chore to do that. You haven't run into that problem yet, have you?
Uh, I run into it here and there. Like I used to really like beat myself up about it whenever I would like put in a lot of work to put out content and stuff, and it just wouldn't pan out
Mhm.
or no one would care. But over time, I'm just like, you know what? It's all part of like the learning process. It's all part of like just
Mhm.
the process of being a VTuber. Everyone goes through it. So
Mhm. I find it interesting that there's so many people now because, I mean, way long time ago when I was in radio, you 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 strive so hard to kind of get your name or your personality out there for people to come back and listen. You worked hard. You made all sorts of changes, and there was a select few people that did that for radio or television or whatever type of medium you're in. Now with so many people taking up YouTubing, or VTubing, I should say, or
mm,
YouTubing for that matter. There's an entire new group of people who never thought about having to market themselves in that way. Now trying to learn to market themselves.
yeah.
Uh, and some folks have no background in it whatsoever. And
I mean, I've had like I don't know, like I've been wanting to I've been wanting to like do YouTube and Twitch for a long time. Like
yeah,
I uploaded my first YouTube video back in like 2008, and it was the cringiest thing ever.
we will look for
So
it and we will
like,
find it.
it's definitely privated. It's still uploaded, but it's definitely privated. No one's seeing that but me.
I'm gonna have to call my overseas hacker friends and see if I can find something. No, everybody's got something on there they've got privated. I'm sure, and not me. No, I don't have anything like that privated.
It was just 10-year-old me talking about a video game I liked. That's all it was. Like that's it's as cringy as a 10-year-old talking about their favorite video game could get.
Well, I mean, but it got you started though. Was that kind of the bug that bit you into doing more, or
Yeah, I would always just upload videos to YouTube just
yeah?
all the time. I wouldn't edit them or anything. I would just record them with my garbage camcorder that my family got me for Christmas one year. And I for like 5 years I would just upload videos and the cringy gaming videos and
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, that's you know that took a little doing, didn't it? That at that point to use an actual video recorder and then get it onto the computer in order to use it, or were you able to download it into a some sort of a disk to use?
so back in 2008 or around 2008, 2007, 2008, I think they came out with these camcorders called flip
Okay.
cameras.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if anyone remembers them, but they were like baby's first camcorder, pretty
Oh,
much.
yeah.
And they would just plug right into your computer, and you could just drag and drop your files and
Ah,
everything, and it would be really easy to just get it on the computer.
okay. Yeah, so it was a lot more advanced, although what was the quality like?
I don't even remember it.
Was it
Probably like 720p,
well, I mean,
2000, 2008, so 720p probably.
it's not too bad for, a 10-year-old doing a video. I mean,
Yeah.
back then.
Cause yeah, like my dad was really into photography,
Hmm.
so he had tripods laying around.
Hmm.
So I would put my camcorder on a tripod and I would just record my TV while I played games.
So what type of games were you playing and what are you playing now?
Back then, it was mainly just Nintendo games. It was mainly just Nintendo games and like Sonic games.
Yeah.
But now I play everything.
Yeah.
Like I get a little frustrated when I go on Twitch and I see people playing the same like 5 games.
Mm.
So when I stream, I just like to find whatever I like to play. Like it's not I I hate that I can't be consistent with a few games like a lot of other VTubers can,
Yeah.
but I also think that because I'm always playing different things, it's kind of a benefit as well in some aspects because people always can find me playing something new that I've never played before
Yeah. Yeah.
on
Well,
stream.
yeah, but you don't want you I would think you wouldn't want to force yourself to do something you don't want to do. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
that would be that's not the it's not a good bed to plant in. It's
Yeah,
it.
but it goes both ways because I know some streamer. I'm friends with some streamers who play like one game.
Yeah.
Like for example, I know streamers that play like exclusively Genshin Impact, just exclusively. Like every day or every other day they'll hop on and they'll stream Genshin Impact.
See.
And I love Genshin Impact, but um and their viewers will join the stream and they'll expect that game. They know that they're going to be able to watch that game and talk to them about that game.
Right.
And that's what keeps them coming back.
Yeah. But you're doing it from the varieties thing where you're more of a person evidently that likes to go back and forth between games and not necessarily get stuck on one game for any period of time.
I just get bored kind of easily. Like I'm not even gonna lie. Like I'll play a game on stream for 3 to 4 hours. I'll enjoy it, but then I'll think about playing it again, and I'm just like, I don't think I can get excited for it all over again. Like I want to move on.
Yeah. Well, see, you've got a thing here where people are coming back for you and not necessarily the games, obviously.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, there's when you get I see people with that sort of thing where they lock onto one game and they do well with it. When the game is over, suddenly their audience drops, and it's
That's
tough.
true.
And they don't they associate them with the game so much that if they go from um, Genshin Impact to Roblox or something,
Hmm.
they don't follow them over because they were there for the game and not the person playing the game.
Yeah,
Uh, it sounds to me like you're building an audience. You have an audience there that are coming back for you, and they want to see you do something. I think
yeah,
that's a stronger build.
yeah. I do feel like it's harder to grow that way, but yeah, like you're right. I feel like in the end, there's a tighter relationship there between like people between the viewer and the streamer when they're just kind of there for you and what you say about a specific game or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I think you're exactly right on that, and that's something that it will take a little bit longer. Um,
mm, I've also been delving into like just chatting streams and like more unique streams. Like a few days ago, I did a stream where I reviewed like my viewers sent in like their computer desk setups,
yeah.
and I like looked at them and reviewed them and gave like my thoughts on like on them, and that was really fun, and a lot of people liked that.
Mm, yeah.
So
Yeah.
uh,
You're not getting a picture of
just
mine because there's too much dust.
but like that's what I want. Like all my viewers' desk setups were great. Like they were clean for the most part, and they were
Well,
great. But I was hoping for like at least a couple that were just filthy, so I could just like say something about it.
well, my phone won't even take the picture. There's so much dust. So it's got a permanent little haze around it that keeps other people away. Um, so you are looking to do some other types of things other than the gaming and chats. Have you got other types of streams in mind?
Um, Not particularly. Like there is like I want to do more of like those desk reviews for sure. I want to do
Hmm.
I'd love to do like reaction content too in the future.
Yeah.
Um, Possibly like there's a lot of stuff I'm thinking about doing, but I doubt myself a lot. I'm like I tell myself I can't be interesting for like a certain amount of time to make the type of content worth it, but
Mm,
I don't know. Usually I end up trying it out anyway.
yeah.
So
Well, good. You talk yourself back into it.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you've kind of proven that wrong by still doing it after out this time,
Hmm.
and people are coming
Yeah.
back. But once you hear that, and everybody gets it every once in a while. Some people more than others. You get that bug in your head, and um, if you listen to it, then you end up not doing what you want to do.
Hmm.
But I think it's pretty obvious that the folks are coming back for you, and if you try something, they're going to at least hang in with you while you try it.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to do stuff that people are interested in because I like making people laugh. Like
Mm-hmm.
ever since I was a kid, I'd always just crack jokes and take things not seriously at all ever.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to make people laugh, make them happy, just give them some kind of entertainment for a while. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's just what I want to do.
So a perfect stream for you would be one where you came on, you enjoyed yourself, you knew that the chat was having a good time along with you, and no matter what happened with the game, you just had fun with it, and everybody had a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, is there?
No.
Yeah. Is it?
And I feel like whatever I've been doing lately has been very worth it, and people seem to enjoy it. Because I started VTubing seriously in 2022, but I feel like it wasn't until late last year that I felt like people actually wanted to watch,
Mm,
and people actually stuck around.
yeah.
So I feel like my drive to be more variety oriented has kind of paid off for me. So
Yeah.
there's that.
Yeah. And again, there's always a little bit of of fishing involved in order to get people go around and look for somebody, and sometimes it's just not their cup of tea, sometimes it is, uh,
Hmm.
but once you get them on the hook, you want them to keep coming back. um, Sounds like that's how you're building things. Again, that's a good
Yeah,
foundation to go from.
I tend to do that. I tend to just do a stream. I just say screw it. I do a stream. Even if I'm not confident people will like it, I'll try it. And usually people don't like it, but that's fine.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
try something else.
yeah. So you said you've done collaborations, but not a whole lot of them.
Yeah, I just I love collabing with people,
Mm,
but the thing with me is that if I feel like I can't be like I don't know, sometimes when you're collabing with someone, you have to like kind of feel it out a little bit,
right.
like where like the vibes lie, I guess.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I just don't like having to do that a lot with people.
mm,
So,
yeah. It's kind of like
uh,
that first, awkward dance of, you know, who's going to say what when, who's going to be the,
mm,
the instigator of the conversation type of deal.
yeah,
Um,
like usually when I collab with someone, it goes amazingly.
mm,
I love it. But there have been a few times where I'll collab with someone and we'll both be like kind of quiet. We won't know what to say.
mm,
Um, and we won't be able to like um bounce off each other. And people like because some people have higher boundaries than others. So
yeah,
sometimes you just can't
yeah,
say certain things that you would not that anyone's really saying anything like bad, but some
yeah,
people are just they have really high boundaries, I guess.
yeah. Well, and sometimes it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
You can
So
have,
sometimes your personalities just don't match, and like
yeah,
it just doesn't go well.
yeah. There's no fault involved in a lot of these. It's just that you could. It's like you have two really good singers, and you put them together, and the song just doesn't sound good. Well, that's not
Yeah.
anybody's fault.
Everyone's different.
Yeah, yeah. They should be more like me and sedentary. But there's a lot. If I was in charge, things would be a lot different. Everybody would be asleep a lot more. Um, the
That sounds great.
Yes, I'm all for it, especially in the winter. Um, the So how big of a part of your life is it right now? VTubing.
Uh, so I try to stream at least 3 times a week. Sometimes it doesn't really go that way, but I
Hmm.
try. Um, and on Blue Sky, I like to post a lot just because I think it's fun. It's fun to write things. I've always loved writing things. I have an English degree,
Yes.
so I love writing.
Have degree
But
must write.
uh, so I love writing. So I'm always typing stuff out on Blue Sky and always advertising my stuff on Blue Sky.
Mm,
Um, so I spend about like half my day doing something related to VTubing, and the other half I'm usually editing.
yeah.
Um, but sometimes I'll just say I need a break today, and I'll just play video games all day.
Yeah. So are you full up as far as editing for people, or could you take another couple of folks? Um,
I could take honestly as long as they're not too strict about deadlines. Like I get stuff done within deadlines for sure, but
yeah.
sometimes people are like, I need a 2 hour video in 1 week, and I'm just like, I don't have that kind of time right now. But
Yeah,
as
yeah.
long as it's not too much, I can probably do like as many people as because I'm pretty good at managing my time.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have all the descriptions and links in the description for the interview here, so you can find out what Nixie's got going on, and this the writing part of it. Have you always been someone who enjoyed writing when you were younger?
Yeah, I've always enjoyed writing,
Yeah.
and I feel like my parents tried their best to cultivate that a little bit by enrolling me in like advanced classes in school and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that I mean, even today, I just don't like to do things when I'm forced to do them.
Right.
So like if I'm in a class, like if I'm in like an English class or something in school or like a writing class or something, and they're like, you have to write, I'm like, I can't just do something because someone tells me to do it.
Mm-hmm. It kind of stifles everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, if I give you an assignment, I want 1,500 words on this short story that is only 800 words long.
Like as a kid, I loved to read. I would read all the time. Like
Yeah,
that's all I would do.
yeah,
When I wasn't playing video games, I would just read. But
yeah.
then, as soon as like high school came around, and they start forcing you to read like every other week,
Hmm.
I stopped reading on my own time because I just didn't like it. I didn't like it, like being forced to do it. So it just kind of left a bad taste in my mouth.
Oh yeah, I can understand that completely. I really can. When you're reading something that you enjoy, and then you realize how much you do enjoy reading. But when you're reading something that
Yeah.
you're forced upon, then it again it's that becoming a chore, it becomes a job, and
Hmm.
you don't really want to put the time out, the brain cells, in order to figure out what's happening in this particular story. When I've got this big giant graphic novel over here, I'd like to read.
Yeah.
it,
Write this 5-page paper about why this one character said this one specific thing.
well, yeah, absolutely. I had back in the junior college days, I had a English um, segment, and it was a short fiction class, and we had a three page short story we were to write a 10-page essay on, and I just looked and I'm like, what?
Ah, that sounds miserable.
Yeah, well, you better believe I used every type of comparison possible.
You use and but then
Oh, I found a
all
type
those.
found a typewriter with a huge font on it. Used that because it's pre-computer days, um, and I was using every comparison possible. I got that paper back with entire pages xed out with no written on it,
Oh,
and I still got a B. Uh,
that's how it is. That's how it is.
yeah, but if I would love to do like little short stories or little fiction type stuff.
Hmm.
Would you rather write fiction or are you a nonfiction person?
Oh, I would definitely rather write fiction.
What types?
Um, Recently I wrote my VTuber lore, and that was like probably the longest thing I've written in a long time.
Hmm.
It's not like too long. It's basically just like a short story, but
Yeah.
um that was the longest thing I wrote, and I had so much fun doing it. And that was like the most recent thing I've written, and that was the most recent thing I've written in a very long time. Like
Mm,
that, I hadn't written anything in years prior to that. But
mm.
that's because I was in college, and I had to write stuff in college, and I just wasn't really I didn't want to write anything else outside of that because
Oh
it
yeah.
left such a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah. It's tough to shake after all that time. I mean,
Yeah.
so with that, what would you like to write now?
Um, I would like I don't know if I were to write anything nowadays, it'd probably be to expand like my VTuber lore or something like that, or write. I also write TikToks that I do. Like I
Mm,
do a lot of TikTok videos
yeah.
where I talk about things,
Yeah.
and I write those. Basically, if I were to write anything, it'd be content related, like
Yeah.
something to do with my streaming.
Yeah. You don't have a book knocking around in your head?
No, I don't.
Mm,
That
no.
would take way too much time for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking too. I talk to folks who are writers here, and there are opportunities to develop like stories that are used as video games. Um,
Mm.
have you thought of something along those lines?
I mean, if someone came to me with an indie game concept and they wanted me to write something for it for whatever reason, I don't know why they'd come to me for that, but I would definitely be down. I would try my best. I would
So
absolutely
so I'll
do
I'll,
that.
I'll mark this with a gold star. This is the promo. Get a hold of Nixie Hime right now.
If you
Send
want me to write you a story for your video game, I'll do it, but there's no guarantee that it'll be amazing because I've never done it before.
yeah. When you're playing a game with a obviously deeply thought out and written storyline,
Yeah. I
get
play so many story focused games,
yeah
so I
yeah
I I know what I like,
yeah.
so
So
yeah.
yeah, I'm wondering with that background and with your writer's experience and background, do you look at it maybe a little differently than than the average video game player would, or is that something that goes across your mind at all?
Like stories?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I feel like the way I think about it is very different because sometimes me and my friends will be playing through the same like new RPG or something
Right.
at the same time. Like we'll just buy it on the same day, like the same like release day or whatever, and play it. And then I'll talk to them about it, and then my thoughts on the story will be completely different
Mm,
from from theirs, and and then we'll just talk about it. And usually, I mean, that's just kind of like what people do with their own opinions. They like to feel like they're right. So obviously, whenever I'm arguing my opinion, I like to feel like I'm right.
yeah.
I'm not like stubborn about it. I'm not like, oh, you can't change my opinion, but um, we'll just argue about things and we'll talk about it, and I'll just be convinced that the way I see it is better because I I just I like writing and I think I know writing more, but I'm
Yeah.
not. I don't try to be stubborn about it. Like if people can change my mind about things
Yeah.
if
If they work hard
I
enough.
don't know. Yeah, if your opinion is articulated well, I mean, like I can be swayed. I can be swayed.
Me like book.
Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes I'll be like, "Oh, I like this story because of all these themes and all of this," and they'll be like, "Oh, I like it just because of this one thing. Me like story, like me
Yes.
me like this one character," and I'm just like, oh, "Okay."
Well, I'd look at that way about movies sometimes. You get some movies out there that have big convoluted plots and all this stuff. Sometimes I just want to see things blow up. And yeah,
Yeah,
I'm,
that's I mean that's also very valid. Like
yeah,
that's very valid. I'm not the kind of person that watches movies specifically for that kind of stuff.
yeah,
Actually, that's not true. There are some movies that I'll watch because I'm just like, oh, I want to see this character do things that are funny.
yeah. To me. I watched Transformers too. I wasn't there to watch Shakespeare. I knew
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
the dialogue isn't going to be good.
Some movies you don't watch for the dialogue, no.
No, no, absolutely not. As I was thinking, I'm one there to watch things blow up real good, and they
I
did.
just love having conversations about just like why people like things and like what yeah.
Yeah.
I just like having conversations about that stuff, so
Well, I mean, you're very easy to have a conversation with. That's
thank you.
and that's, I imagine that's one of the big things that draws the folks back to you is that the fact that you are very engaging with them and again no sharpness or that to your voice or how you handle these types of things. That's a
Hmm.
really good combination to have when it comes to it, and having a pretty level head about it. And sounds like to me you got everything ready to go.
I just love discussion. That's all.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Discussion is a good thing, and good conversation is very tough to find these days.
Yeah, a lot of people these days are very afraid to have discussions because they don't want to hear something they might not want to hear. But
Yeah,
I don't know. Even if I hear something I don't want to hear, I'll call them. I'll say I think that their opinion's stupid or something. But I hope they don't take it seriously because I'm not like calling them stupid. I'm just like joking around.
Well, I got to tell you, it's an absolute pleasure talking with you, and I really hope things continue to go well for you, and you build that solid foundation and continue to
Thank
grow,
you.
and you get some stuff coming on in the future, some big things. Let us know. We'll get you back on. We'll promote it, and
Oh, thank you.
we'll get you back on soon. I really do appreciate you coming on with me, and I hope we can do it again.
I appreciate you having me. I would definitely love to come on again.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.